what is, let's see, Children in the Wilderness?
Okay, thanks for asking. Children in the Wilderness is our most important community engagement program. It's been running for more than 20 years now, and essentially it's an intervention into the schools in the areas surrounding where we operate. And so what happens is we run eco clubs in the schools, and there's a structured training curriculum for those eco clubs. We've trained the teachers that run those eco clubs, and we give them the materials that they need to operate the clubs. And they run a structured curriculum in environmental education, life skills and leadership for those kids. And then a sample of those kids, and it's about 500 a year, are then selected, and they are then hosted in our camps. We close the camp for a week, and they visit our camps just like a tourist would. They stay in the visitor accommodation. In the case of Botswana, where you can't get to our camps by road, they're flown in by aircraft, just like a tourist, which of course blows their mind.
I bet.
And so they visit the camps. At the outset, it was just all we were trying to do was show the kids the wildlife and give them some appreciation for what was there.
Because they've never seen wildlife before?
Yeah, in many instances. I mean, so in a lot of those areas, the community, so in quite a few instances, we're operating in land that the community has set aside for wildlife, for the economic benefit that they will derive from the wildlife. And so it's their land. In other instances, it's land that historically and traditionally was theirs, but which they were in one way or another deprived of when the protected area networks were created in colonial times. And so, there's often quite a big disconnect between these communities and the wildlife. Certainly a lot of these kids have never seen any of these animals that foreign tourists pay so much money to come and see, and they have difficulty understanding why someone would want to do all of that, particularly given that to the extent that they have any interaction with wildlife, it's often a negative one. Animals eat their crops, their livestock. In some instances they've even lost family members to problem animal incidents, and so quite often, if they've got any attitude to wildlife at all, it's a negative one, and we're trying to change that. And of course, the kids will be the decision makers of the future. And
so they will also understand that this tourism dollars that's flowing in for the wildlife. Do they connect about conserving the wildlife?
That's the whole point. That's the whole point, is to give them an appreciation for the wildlife and the value of it. And I can tell you that it works because we have quite a few staff whose first interaction with wilderness was as a kid on a Children in the Wilderness camp. And so, they get exposed to the organization. We've even got a pilot in our airline who was flown into one of the camps on one of these occasions and was so inspired by the experience that he was able to go ahead and make it as a pilot. So yeah, the whole point is for kids, the kids to get an appreciation of the wildlife so that they will appreciate it, and when they come to be decision makers in future, make the right decisions.
Thank you, Derek.
My pleasure. Thank you.